Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Seventh verse doesn't have the purpose, so I read the Sanskrit and translation, and then we all together will. Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay, then sixth verse. Ete alina tava yashah akhilaloka tirtham gayantah adipurusha anupadham bhajante prayah ami muniganah bhavadiya mukhyah gudham vane api najahati anagha atmadaivam etelenastava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adipurushanupadham bhajante prayo ami munigana bhavadiya mukhya gudham vanepi na jahachya naghatmadaivam etelinastava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adipurushanupadham bhajante prayo ami munigana bhavadiya mukhya gudham vanepi na jahachya naghatmadaivam etelinastava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adipurushanupadham bhajante bhavadiya mukhya gudham vanepi na jahachya naghatmadaivam etelinastava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adipurushanupadham bhajante prayo ami munigana bhavadiya mukhya gudham vanepi na jahachya naghatmadaivam etelinastava yashokhila lokatirtham gayanta adipurushanupadham bhajante prayo amigana bhavadiya mukhya gudham vanepi na jahachya naghatmadaivam etelinastava yashokhila lokatirtham Gayanta adi purushanupadham bhajante Prayo ami munigana bhavadiya mukhya Pinajahatya nagatmadaivam. Mataji's. Okay. Ete, this, alina, bis, tava, your, yashah, glories, akhila loka, for all worlds, tirdham, the place of pilgrimage, gayantah, are chanting, adi purusha, O original personality of Godhead, anupadham, following you along the path, bhajante, they are engaged in worshipping, prayah, for the most part, ami, this, munigana, great sages, bhavadiya, among your devotees, mukhyaha, the most intimate, gudham, hidden, vane, within the forest, api, even though, najahati, they do not abandon, anagha, O sinless one, atmadaivam, their own worshipable deity. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva Prabhupada. O original personality, these beings must all be great sages and most elevated devotees of yours, for they are worshipping you by following you along the path and chanting your glories, which are themselves a holy place for the entire world. Though you have disguised yourself within this forest, O sinless one, they refuse to abandon you, their worshipable Lord. Purport. The word Gudham is significant in this verse. It indicates that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of Krishna or Balarama appears like an ordinary human being within the material world, great sages always recognize the Lord as the Supreme Absolute Truth. All the transcendental forms of Godhead are eternal and full of bliss and knowledge, exactly the opposite of our material bodies, which are temporary and full of misery and ignorance. One meaning of the word Tirtha is the means for crossing beyond material existence. Simply by hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord, or by chanting them, one immediately comes to the spiritual platform, beyond material existence. Thus, the Lord's transcendental glories are here described as a tirtha for everyone in the world. The word Gayanta indicates that great sages give up their vows of silence and other selfish processes to glorify the activities of the Supreme Lord. Real silence means to not speak nonsense, to limit one's verbal activities to those sounds, statements, and discussions relevant to the loving service of the Supreme Lord. The word Anagha indicates that the Supreme Lord never performs sinful or offensive activities. The word also indicates that the Lord immediately excuses a sin or offense committed by a sincere loving devotee who may accidentally deviate from the Lord's service. In the specific context of this verse, the word Anagha indicates that Lord Balarama was not disturbed by the bees who were constantly following him, Anupadham. The Lord blessed them by saying, O bees, come into my confidential grove and feel free to taste its fragrance. Sorry, it's not the purport of Srila Prabhupada, it's purport of his disciples. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Hyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Chinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Etilina stavaya shokhila loka tirtham gayanta adi purushanupatham bhajante prayo ami munigana bhavadiya mukhya gudham vane pinajahachana ghatma daivam. O original personalities, these bees must all be great sages and most elevated devotees of yours, for they are worshipping you by following you along the path and chanting your glories, which are themselves a holy place for the entire world. Though you have disguised yourself within this forest, O sinless one, they refuse to abandon you, their worshipable Lord. So Krishna and Balaram, they go in the forest deeper and deeper, and Krishna started to glorify Balarama in different way. Now he speaks about mobile living entities which tries to interact with the Lord, and here it's stated that these Alinach bees, they was glorifying the Lord. So question may rise, I mean, how bees can glorify the Lord? Because usually we see that bees, they, they're not speaking, they're not perform any human-like activities. But here it's stated that these bees, they was Muniganaha, they was great sages in previous lives, and that's why now they was concealed. The word Gudham in commentary it stated it can refers to the personality of Godhead, Balaram and Krishna, who was concealed in this forest. They was not seen, they was acting as a human beings externally. And this sages also was concealed, they was in the bodies of these bees. And it's quite interesting because usually we try to, in the material world, we don't want to become a beast, we don't want to become an animal, we don't want to become any kind of material living entity, but in the spiritual world, any position is glorified. And we can remember Madhavendra Puri. He was a very, very exalted devotee, but it's stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita that in the spiritual world he was simply a grass. So in the spiritual world, all the positions, they are equal. They are not, there's no from one point of view, it's stated that Radha is topmost, gopis are topmost, but devotees, they don't feel like they miss something if they have a service of a grass or of a cow or of a bee or any entity, any subject in the spiritual world. And commentary also very interesting. A lot of topics covered here. First, regarding name, there's two names which is used in this verse. First is Adi Purusha, and second is Anagha. And Acharyas explained that Adi Purusha, this name used because to confirm, to prove why these bees, why the sages, they follow Anupadham, Balarama and Krishna, because he is Adi Purusha, because he sets the rules, he sets the all the creation into moving, he sets everything. So that's why they need to follow him, because he is Adi Purusha. And Anagha, direct meaning is no sin or sinless one. That name also comes into Vishnu Sahasranam at least twice, and usually it takes into that meaning that Krishna, he is sinless. And here also it's taken as Agha. Acharyas explained that it can be taken as aparada, and then it takes meaning that those who don't take fall downs or some deviations from the path from of his devotees. And we know this verse, Apichet Suduracharo, from Bhagavad Gita, and it's stated that it's very guhyam, this knowledge, this vidya, it's very confidential. The whole chapter, 9th chapter, is called most confidential knowledge. And at the end, like when we go from the beginning till the end of this chapter, knowledge becomes more and more like guhyam, more secret, more difficult to understand for non-devotees, and even for devotees on the beginning stages. So it's actually a very crucial to understand this point, that Krishna is anaga in the sense that he doesn't take into consideration fall downs of devotees if they are sincere in the service, of course. That's the whole point of this verse. Apichet Suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyak samyak vyavasito hisaha. Krishna states that if someone is really sincere and undisturbed in his devotional service, in the sense that he is disturbed by his fall downs, but he still continues, then he should be considered as a sadhu. Why? Because it's just a question of time when he will become purified, and he will become a real sadhu, real pure devotee. And it's really difficult, can be really real. We can see in our life of ISKCON that it can be really difficult to get this principle. This word sudurachar means like really bad things can be done by someone who on the path of devotional service, and we shouldn't blame such a sincere devotee. So like we have sometimes it's happened that some senior devotee, some guru can be it can be pointed out that, you know, recently there was a case that some years ago, decades ago, one sannyasi, he have some fall down, and then it was a, you know, fiery case, and everyone was, you know, really upset with him and was trying to fight him, draw him back, and they did. But actually, according to the statement of Lord Krishna, there shouldn't be such an attitude towards the devotee, because if we first of all, we shouldn't blame him if he's sincere, and I mean, at least in this case, it looks like so. And we should not, we shouldn't interrupt the flow of devotional service of the devotee, because that's the only means how he can eventually overcome all these problems which he faced in the future. Maybe he already cleansed because it was, you know, decades ago, and that's also one consideration which can be taken. Yeah, so and there was a devotees who was against, I mean, not against, but they was trying to explain this verse Apichet Suduracharo and presented it look like, you know, we, you know, he's a devotee, but we just should, you know, how to say, make his life in such a way that he will not intermingle with these sense objects which cause him to fall down, and, you know, he should continue because that's how it is. But most of the people who heard such news, he just ruined his position, you can say, because devotee still remain focused and still remain determined. So the question may rise, how we can understand that, you know, devotee is really sincere and it's not planned fall down or no intention fall down. In this question raised in Madhurya Kadambini, and when Anichita Bhajana Kriya is discussed, so it's one of the problems when we are not steady in our devotional service, when we try to overcome some vasanas, some impressions in our mind, some desires which was kept for, which we was collecting for this life and for many births before, and we're trying to fight them, but still we fall down, we become victims of them. And there's one verse which is quoted from 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Jata Shraddha Madhathasu. Krishna explains what is the mood of a devotee who faces such a problem when, when he fell down, what to do. And he said that Jata Shraddha Madhathasu, those who have Shraddha in my Katha, in my Krishna Katha, here it is also said, it's mentioned that this beast was Gayandaha, that's the only means, it's Tirtha to cross over material existence, to purify our senses, purify ourselves. So those who have faith in my Krishna, in my Katha about me, Krishna says, Nirvinnah Sarva Karmasu, and he is not able to restrain from karmic activities. Veda Dukhatmakan Kaman, and he knows Veda that these desires, they leads to Dukha. Parityago Pyanishvaraha, and he is not able to Tyaga, to renounce these activities. Tato bhajeta mam pritaha shadhalur dridhanishayaha. So such a devotee, he should with priti, with positive inclination towards the Lord, continue his service with faith, shraddha, and with firm determination, with dridha. Jushamanah chatat kaman dukhadarsham dukhadarkam chagarhayan, and this devotee, he should lament what happened with me, like I fall down, and it's not that, okay, I mean, with whom it cannot happen, I will continue, maybe it will happen tomorrow, no problem. No, such a attitude is completely wrong, and devotee should lament, he should be ready to take responsibility for, it's not that, Krishna will, purify myself and I can do whatever I want. No, he knows that Krishna doesn't have to, do anything. It's my problem, and there should be some punishment, definitely, and I'm fully ready to accept this. So if a devotee have such a mood, then we can say that, he's sincere, and he comes into this category of this Apichet Sudarachara verse. We shouldn't blame him. And overall, who are we to blame anyone overall? So there are some seniors who can, deal with any cases which can happen. So mainly, it's warning for us. And in the next verse, if you remember this 9th chapter, Krishna states, and Acharyas explains that this verse, Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma, that at this time his eyes fills with blood. He's very eager to promote this message to everyone, and he said to Arjuna that Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhaktak Pranashiti Pratijanihi Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, you boldly states that my bhakta is never perishes. He will never fall down. He will never, like karmis, gyanis, they do some really difficult activities. They, especially gyanis. But what's the result of it? In this life he is karmi and gyani. In next life, or after few lives, he is just a worm and stool, and that's all. But devotional service, it's always with us. Whatever we acquired on this path, would be with us. And also, why Krishna states this, that devotee never perishes. What does it mean? Srila Prabhupada explained the purport to this 9:31 verse is that devotee do not require to go of any reformatory activities. He just should continue to chant Hare Krishna and execute his devotional service. If he did some mistakes, if he did something wrong, no need to perform anything. It's like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was a case of, I forgot his name, this devotee who was converted into Muslim. It's when he went to some Smarta Brahmana, he thought that you should drink this liquid hot ghee. So he thought that you need to drink hot ghee means basically you need to die if you drink hot ghee. So and he was of course upset, and he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that you just go to Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna. That's all, no need to do anything else. And that's Gudham, it's Guhyam, in the sense that it's very difficult for non-devotees, for those who, especially for all these yogis, karmis, gyanis, who, whose idea is that, you need to go through this spiritual so-called path, with, very pushing yourself and a lot of austerities you need to do. But here it's easy process. We can see that from one point of view it's not so easy when we face our anarchas, but overall it's easy process. We need just to chant, we need to serve the Guru, we need to share the message with other people, and it's really joyful process. Who reject in insane mind to just chant, dance, sing, eat nice prasadam, and worship the Lord, who is very nice. He is very beautiful, he is very kind, he is Bhaktavatsala. Where we can find such a master who is always trying to become your servant? In material world it's unimaginable. Only with Krishna, and that's why this quality Bhaktavatsala, it's always it's like a main quality of Bhagavan. Like this Brahmana who was illiterate, and the Lord Chaitanya, and he was trying to read Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached him and asked him, "What are you doing? Why are you crying?" And he told that, I'm crying because when I remember that Krishna takes a position of the charioteer of his devotee, so that gives me such a emotions. So Lord is Anagha. He doesn't take into consideration. Of course he knows that some problems are there, but the point is that he mainly focused on the devotion of the spiritual entity, and he tries to fire up this devotion, not to put water in it. Oh, you did something wrong. No, finished. No, Krishna always gives us a chance, and he always is here, and it's only him actually who helps us eventually. Also, one statement regarding Mauna, or real silence. Here it's stated in the purport that real silence means to not speak nonsense, to limit one's verbal activities to those sounds, statements, and discussions relevant to the loving service of the Supreme Lord. So, in the beginning, it's nectar instructions that we should restrain our vegams, we should restrain our speech, and solution is given very easy, that we should speak only of Krishna. But here also can be some problems, because there is a weeds like puja, loba, pratishtha. So even if we come to Krishna consciousness, we start to speak about Krishna with the idea that now I control the mind, but next level is that we speak about Krishna not to get Puja, Lobha and Pratishtha, because in that sense it also came into the category of Prajalpa, that which is ruin our bhakti. So I mean, it's interesting because from one point of view you can speak about Krishna, but you're doing this for your own sake, and then it's, I mean, not meaningless fully, because I mean you speak about Krishna, but you will not progress if we water the seeds of desire for honor, for worship by Krishna Katha, by any, I mean, any devotional activities can be used in this way, then we will not really progress. Then these weeds, they cover our bhakti lata, and our devotional service will be completely finished. Yeah, also it mentions about tirthas, that usually like Guru Maharaj, he gave on this name Tirthakara a lot of lectures, I believe, here in Salem. Like it was maybe 10 or 15 lectures overall. So it's very big and huge topic, but conclusion was that sadhus is the best tirtha. So that's the main point. Not that, you know, we go, so like right now it's Kumbh Mela is going on, and millions of people, they go there, and what they doing? They are not approaching sadhus in the terms of, you know, getting real benefit to hear from them, so that sadhu will cut their attachments and rectify them. They just go there because they have some material desires, and it's Yasatma Budhih Kunapetri Dhatuke verse is stated that Yatirtha Budhi Shalelena Karhirish. If someone thinks that Tirtha is simply a place where I can go and take bath, and that's all, then he is no better than cow or ass. So it's also a very important point that place where there is a sadhus, where there is a discussion of Krishna, of his glories, that place becomes a tirtha. So from that point of view, even in Dham, in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, we can say that from, like, how to say, from one point of view, all this place, it's a place of Lila, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Krishna. But from another point of view, it's not any place in this area is tirtha, in the sense that sadhus are very, how to say, very rare, very limited. We cannot, you know, go to everyone and get benefit, spiritual benefit from association with these persons. Especially in Kali Yuga, it's stated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in this book about Navadvipa Dham. I forgot the title, but anyway, it stated that especially in Kali Yuga, these dhammas will be covered more and more with all the materialism, with all the sinful activities, and especially in Vrindavan, I mean, in Mayapur less, because also it states that Mayapur will grow. All of all the tirthas in Kali Yuga, Mayapur will develop as a dham. And in Vrindavan now they build this huge road from Delhi to Vrindavan, and it becomes like a Las Vegas for those who live in Vrindavan. So they just came on the good road to gratify the senses, and all the conditions are there. So wine, all these things, like, and it's like really becomes more and more covered. And ISKCON temple also, they don't have much premises. It's only, you know, small, you can say, land comparing to the whole area of Vrindavan. so they cannot do much. They cannot impose their rules. Whereas in Mayapur, it's really like central, big land. It belongs to ISKCON, and then at least inside ISKCON campus, they see that everyone goes into order and that there is no illicit activities is executed. Yeah, so is there any questions, objections, or rectifies? Now it's time. Yeah, we should go. The question is that Srila Prabhupada visited Kumbh Mela, so many devotees give this example that we also should go to Kumbh Mela. We should go everywhere to preach. I mean, to Kumbh Mela also, it's a very auspicious gathering because it's expected that sadhus will go there. When you go to some college or in the West, everywhere you go, I mean, it's not expected that some devotee will appear. But in Kumbh Mela, it's expected, it's more easy. I mean, I never was in Kumbh Mela, but my understanding that it's more easy to preach. That's why right now, actually, I heard that devotees, they feed in millions with prasadam, they trying to distribute books and to preach to all these people who gather there. So it's not that we shouldn't go to I mean, the point is that I was making that if we will go to Kumbh Mela to hear the sadhus who gather there, that's a failure. Because, I mean, looks like only devotees of ISKCON, they are real sadhus who go there. Maybe mistakes. I don't know. But looks like, because all these people, what they are doing, it's like Prayena Deva Munayak Svami Uktikama, this verse by Prahlada Maharaj. So that, all these yogis, they go to the caves, to the mountains, they sit there, do real austerity, but for what purpose? For their own sake. And Prahlad Maharaj tells that my idea is that I will go for these fallen souls and I will, preach to them, I will uplift them. That's the real devotion which can leads us to the perfection which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This mood of self, what is the word? Giving yourself to the others, not to hide. So maybe it's Guru Maharaj in one of the recent lectures, he mentioned that it's a lot of yogis with this long hair, like really, really long, like, maybe 2 meters, 3 meters. And he stated that means that they should be 200 years old, 300 years. But what they're doing? I mean, what they're doing? They just, do some austerity, and from one point of view, it's nice. But here we can see that this Muni Ganaha, this actually, these bees in this verse which is mentioned, Acharyas explained that this bees the best of the sages. So all these Kumbh Mela yogis, they should follow these bees according to the statements, because that's the perfection of being a sage. If you are a sage, then you should glorify Krishna, you should surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, you are not a Mahatma, according to Bhagavad Gita. So that's why devotees go there, to preach this and to convert their mind, to explain to them that actually you don't have to live for 200 years, 300 years, like this verse in Bhagavatam, that's better live for one moment, one kshana in full consciousness than to pass years, hundreds, and any amount of years into this unconsciousness in the sense that a person do not aware of Krishna. So that's why devotees go there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the whole point, to get sadhu sangha. Why all these pious activities are recommended, because devotees also would be somewhere near the Ganga. They also will do some shalagram worship, and then you will get in touch with them, and then they will give you shraddha, and you will continue. Otherwise, itself, I mean, bathing, it takes long time. It's Yatpada samshayak suta munayak prasha. Is this verse that in Bhagavatam, that uh, those who came in, it's this comparison, coming in contact with the Ganga, and coming in contact with Munaya, with sadhus. So comparison, it is not in the favor of Ganga. It's in the favor of sadhus. They gives really fast purifying, and they give us Krishna consciousness. Whereas the Ganga, it takes long time. And as Prabhu mentioned, that it's like baiting of the elephant. They go to the Ganga and then continue with all the sinful activities. So what's the point? To any devotee who means in the terms of levels, like Kanisha, Madhyama, to whom it's applicable? Maybe you can, I mean, because I don't remember that it corresponds to these verses, but according to my understanding, it's, I mean, to anyone who sincere serve the Lord. If one devotee goes to one temple, messes something here, then goes to another temple, doing the same things, and 10 temples he went, where's sincerity? I mean, at least he should, restrain from this situation where he messes up. And where yeah, a lot of cases such like this. I mean, and looks like they're not sincere. I mean, where is sincerity? They should lament. They should do something with this. I mean, each case is individual, and it's, but like. When temple will finish then? How far? Yeah, in some cases it looks like better to just put devotee into his house, his own house, and restrain him from. In some cases, but it's like really some. What is the word? Really, really hard cases. Some really bad karma and bad conditioning of the. But actually, if devotee is sincere in devotional service, it's very quickly can be overcome. Quickly means not for one day, but like there are cases of Srila Prabhupada's disciples who, I believe one was Kushakratka Prabhu. Initially, he was very dirty and bad looking and kind of really strange guy. Even for hippies, he was a strange. So he was kept in the temple under the staircase, and he was sometimes coming from there and doing some nonsense. And devotees was they wanted to send him out of the temple, but Srila Prabhupada told them that keep him. And it's a story by one devotee who said that I saw him initially in this state, in this condition, and then after a few years I come to this temple and I saw that there's a one good-looking devotee who was translating from Sanskrit works of previous acharyas, and eventually he got to know that this Kushakratka Prabhu, he was this strange, I mean, if hippie was telling that somebody is strange, means that he's really strange, because hippie itself was a crazy people, but so looks like lack of engagement or some insincerity, because devotional service is very powerful. Like it's stated in Bhakti Sandarbha that we can get completely, we can become completely pure and get love of God simply by immediate contact with the bhakti. But only our aparadas, they restrain us from that goal. And if we think that oh, I need to to practice bhakti for some time and then I will get the result, that itself is this result of this aparada mentality. Means it's wrong. So yeah, I mean, it's managerial question. I'm not a manager, so I mean, from that point of view, finally can be discussed any particular situation, what he done, why it's not working in another temple, what causes him to do bad things again, are he's sincere or not. But if we see that he is sincere, we should give him a chance. I mean, if he really is sincere. But sometimes it looks like Hare Krishna. Yeah.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिव प्रभुपाद की जय।